We move on to laquelle. It has more than just laquelle. So when verbs are followed by prepositions, for example, some verbs use certain preposition, penser à, to think about, okay, or écrire à. It's not always right. I mean, you can use écrire with a direct object. It doesn't have to be écrire à. It can go with écrire à. It can just be écrire. For example, j'écris une lettre. I'm writing a letter. J'écris à Rohit. I'm writing to Rohit. Okay. Je pense beaucoup. I think a lot. Je pense beaucoup à toi. I think a lot about you. So when the verbs are followed by prepositions, right, we have different set of pronouns. Qui, quoi, lequel, and lequel has four variants. Lequel, laquelle, lesquels, lesquelles. It's like your adjective quel, okay, interrogative adjective. So lequel is masculine singular. The thing that you have to remember about lequel is that generally, and when I say generally, most of the times, lequel and the family, lequel family, lequel, laquelle, lesquels, lesquelles. So lequel is masculine singular, laquelle, laquelle, not roquel, is feminine singular, lesquels is masculine plural, lesquelles is feminine plural. And yeah, they sound the same. Laquelle, laquelle, lesquels, lesquelles. Okay, it doesn't change. Now the thing about laquelle and laquelle and lesquels, lesquelles, they usually do not refer to people. These are usually used for things, not people. Okay, remember that. When I say usually, most of the times, it's very, very uncommon to use laquelle for a person or laquelle for a female person. Okay, they are usually used for things. Generally, all of them mean whom. And when it's a person, in this situation, when we are using a verb in the dependent clause which has a preposition, okay, and when it's a person, which is what we are referring to, right, that subject, then we use qui. This qui is different than the earlier qui. Okay, for example, say l'antiquaire, it's the antique owner or antiques dealer. À qui je pensais, of whom I'm thinking about. Of, so here it's different, meaning is different. Okay, we have seen one relative pronoun qui. This is slightly different because it is coming with a combination of a preposition. So preposition will come before the pronoun now. Usually it would have followed the verb, right? The dependent clause would have been je pensais à l'antiquaire. Correct? This is how general statement would have been in the dependent clause. Now we are using the dependent clause, okay? And this object is coming before, right? At the beginning. C'est l'antiquaire. Because it's a preposition, we'll use à qui. So preposition will come before qui. À qui je pensais. It's the antique dealer of whom I was thinking about. Okay? C'est le tableau. Now it's not a person. It's a painting. C'est le tableau auquel je pensais. Why it did become auquel? So all of this usually means whom. Okay? They mean whom. When laquelle comes after a, combination of a plus laquelle becomes auquel. Okay? It's like the same. A plus le is o, right? Remember that? A followed by le is o. Yeah. A followed by laquelle becomes auquel. And here it will become auquel. Right? Auquel. And this will remain a laquelle. Cool? So yeah, only with laquelle it remains like that because it starts with la, right? Rest of them start with le, so they all become, when they are preceded by a, preposition a, auquel, à laquelle, auquel, auquel. Now let's go back to the examples. C'est le tableau auquel je pensais. It's the painting of whom or of which I was thinking about. Tu sais à quoi il pense? Now, what's the difference here? Another statement is, tu sais à quoi il pense? First of all, we are using this too because the verb comes with a preposition. Okay, so we are using à qui, à quoi. What's the difference here in meaning? Person. This is about something. We don't know what is it. Okay, eventually this will very well might turn out to be a person. We don't know, right? Like you see me, and you see me just staring at a wall. You might ask Mamta, tu sais à quoi il pense? Do you know what is he thinking about? Is he mad? He is mad, we know that, but what is he thinking about? So, or you can say, tu sais à qui il pense? Then you know that it's a person. But you just don't know what person, right? How about this? Will this be correct?
A little improbable.
Right? Because generally you write to a person, you don't write to object. Right?
Wait, a key.
So it should be a key. Do you know to whom he is writing? So that's the difference between aqua and aki. And the preposition doesn't have to be a. It could be avec, okay, as you see. It could be pour, okay. For example, we have a verb travailler pour quelqu'un. Quelque chose also. It could also be a company, right? Entreprise. For example, je travaille pour Google, or je travaille pour Apple, or je travaille pour vous tous, right? I work for you all, right? So it could be person like that. So travail also uses pour as a preposition sometimes. Okay. So here you see this. C'est le client pour lequel je travaille. You can also use pour qui here, okay, because it is referring to a person. But le client could also be a company, isn't it? It doesn't have to be a person.
Laquelle generally doesn't go with. It only goes with things. So
Generally, so that's why I think the client here is a company, not one person. If it was a person, you could have used pour qui je travaille. Okay, that also goes. C'est la société pour laquelle. See the change. Pour laquelle, because it's la société. It's the society for which I work or I'm working. Laquelle, laquelle, lesquels, lesquels. All of them means whom. They are relative pronouns and they come with sentences where verb has a preposition. Right? Now I'm taking this example. C'est la société pour is the society for whom. Pour laquelle, I'm using laquelle because it's a feminine thing that is we are referring to. Je travaille. Je travaille pour la société. C'est la société pour laquelle, for whom I work. अगर ये masculine होता, से जैसे हमने बोला le client, right? So it would have been pour lequel, right? Je travaille.
Laquelle could be whom or which, right? Like the society for which I work, or the company for which I work.
Yeah. It could also mean which or whom. Okay. C'est la femme pour qui je travaille. Why I'm not using laquelle here? Because I told you, laquelle, laquelle, lesquels, lesquels, we don't use them usually for people. I'm specifying here. It's the woman for whom I work.
yes, okay.
Avec qui, again I said, preposition doesn't have to be pour or a. It could be avec. Voici la collègue avec qui, because it's a person. Rupali, again. So we are using preposition plus qui. Voici la collègue avec qui j'écris le rapport, the report. Okay. Les outils, the tools, avec, again, because it's a thing. We are back to lesquels. Il travaille. It's the tools with which he is working belong to his father. Je vous présente. I introduce to you the person, la personne, sans qui. Why qui? Mamta? Person. Again, preposition. What is the preposition now, Mamta, here? Sans is without, right? I present to you the person without whom je n'aurais pas pu. This is the tense which we have not studied. It's past conditional, so don't worry about it. I present to you the person without whom I wouldn't have been able to succeed. So, a lot of prepositions, sans, avec, pour. Only one preposition we have not seen here is the one which we have studied earlier actually. So that is because we have a nice relative pronoun which deals with that. So we'll study that. Note that qui cannot be used with the preposition parmi. Parmi is a preposition which means among. Plusieurs peintres, several painters. Parmi lesquels. This is a preposition and we're talking about people, right? So we say that with people we use relative pronoun qui.
Yes.
In this particular combination of preposition parmi, you don't use qui, you use lesquels. Okay.